Today on PGTV News, the governor of Florida has issued a safer at home executive order for the state, including here in Polk County. How that will affect you coming up.
And distance learning has begun for Polk County students. We'll tell you what the county has done to prepare for the online education and how you can get connected. That's all ahead on PGTV News.
Welcome to PGTV News. I'm Tina Mann.
And I'm Steve Barnes. Governor Ron DeSantis issued a statewide stay-at-home order this week. The order, which lasts until at least April 30th, is intended to slow the spread of COVID-19 or coronavirus. On the day the order was issued, there were 6,500 reported cases in the state of Florida and 85 deaths. 75 of the reported cases were in Polk County. Exceptions to this stay-at-home order include buying food, medicine, and gas, visiting the doctor, outdoor exercises, and commuting to jobs that are deemed essential. All businesses that are not considered essential must close their offices and stores. Employees of those businesses may work from home where it's feasible. DeSantis defended his county-by-county approach almost daily during the past 2 weeks, even as other governors in similarly populated states, including California, New York, and Illinois, issued statewide lockdown orders. The governor had said a statewide order wouldn't be fair to small, mostly rural counties with no or few confirmed infections and to the workers who would lose their jobs. Instead, he issued a stay-at-home order for hard-hit Miami-Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties and the Florida Keys. And he had ordered anyone arriving from the New York area and Louisiana to self-quarantine for 2 weeks. He also issued some statewide measures, including closing bars and gyms and limiting restaurants to takeout and delivery. To keep up on the latest of all the changes throughout the week, follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/PolkCountyGovFL.
What a weird, tough situation we're in right now.
Yeah, it really is, and and things seem to be changing kind of daily. I know the city of Lakeland had some ordinances that they were going to pass, and then this came across, and they had to retract the ordinances. So there's a lot of things happening day by day.
Right, but I mean, everybody is doing their best at getting all the correct information out as soon as possible. People just have to be patient because sometimes we're trying to come up with the right answer as much as they are.
Well, and that's important to stay on the county's social media because that's where we're going to post the day-by-day changes and press releases and things like that folks really need to be aware of.
We mentioned the Facebook page, but I think it's also important to join Nextdoor.
Nextdoor is great.
Because they will also get notifications from the sheriff's office as well as us about, public safety.
Absolutely. Stay connected.
The 11th Circuit Court of Appeals has decided that felons cannot be restricted from voting even if all court costs have not been paid in their case. The full 11th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals has upheld an injunction issued in October against some parts of a bill that restores voting rights to felons who have served their sentences. The sections in question stipulated that felons must pay all fines, restitution, and other financial obligations before their sentences will be considered fully served. In October, U.S. District Judge Robert Hinkle issued a preliminary injunction against those sections of that new law, and in February, a 3-judge panel of the 11th Circuit let the injunction stand. The full court's decision upheld both of those rulings. While the ruling only applies to the plaintiffs, the case has broad ramifications for the 1.6 million Florida felons who have completed their prison sentences and could regain their voting privileges under Amendment 4. According to a study by a University of Florida political scientist, about 80% of released felons still have legal financial obligations.
Well, Polk County Fire Rescue has issued a burn ban because of an extended period of dry weather conditions. Campfires and bonfires are included in the ban, as well as non-permitted controlled burns, burning of yard and household or construction debris, the igniting of fireworks, and non-commercial burning of material other than religious or ceremonial purposes if they are not contained in a barbecue grill or pit. The total fuel area of the grill or pit may not be more than 3 feet wide and 2 feet high. Polk fire officials said the county's average on the drought index is more than 500. On the index, 0 means there's no danger and 800 means extreme danger. Officials say they become concerned whenever the scales go above 500 for 50% or more of the county. Drought is not the only warning sign for fires. Wind, temperature, humidity, and atmospheric stability are also factors. All of unincorporated Polk is included in the burn ban, as well as Auburndale, Bartow, Davenport, Dundee, Eagle Lake, Haines City, Hillcrest Heights, Lake Alfred, Lake Hamilton, Lakeland, Mulberry, Polk City, and Winter Haven. Violators could be fined up to $500 and spend up to 60 days in the Polk County Jail.
Well, you don't want to do that. You don't want to be in the jail, and you also don't want to burn your house down.
No, or your neighbor's house. And that's usually what happens is in these really dry conditions, all it takes is one ember to get up into the atmosphere, to get up into a wind path, and it carries off into somebody else's yard that is not out, not paying attention. And the next thing you know, their yard is the one that's on fire.
Right, and not only is the drought index high, but I know we've had at least probably 8 or 9 brush fires just in the last week here in Polk County.
Yeah, and it's tough. I understand it's beautiful weather out right now. It's a great time to have a fire at night, but resist the urge.
Keep it in your little fire pit.
Keep it in your little fire pit. Don't have those big bonfires. Shouldn't be having bonfires with tons of people around anyway. We're trying to keep social distancing.
Social distancing.
Little fires. Or no fires.
Well, spring break is over and kids are back to school, virtually. With the coronavirus pandemic, schools across Florida, including those here in Polk County, have been closed until at least May 1st. Education doesn't stop, however, and schools have been preparing for the distance learning solution by prepping 60,000 devices for the more than 105,000 students. Preparations included sanitizing tablets and laptops, updating software, contacting parents to find out who has internet access already, and providing information to parents about internet offers and other options. Some internet providers, such as Spectrum and Comcast, are offering a short-term free internet option for students. Superintendent Jacqueline Bird is urging parents to take only one device so that the students who need them most can get them. For more information, visit polkschoolsfl.com. It is stressful to be a parent or a teacher right now. I will tell you that. Sure. So I appreciate all that the school board has done to alleviate at least one of the concerns, which would be, how is my child going to access the electronic devices and things like that? Because I know that was a big problem in Polk County.
Right, and especially with some of those younger students that don't have devices yet and things like that. One of the things that's interesting that we're seeing during this whole crisis is creative solutions.
Right.
And it'll be interesting to see how our education changes. It'll be interesting to see how our business approaches change in the future from the things that we're being forced to do during this crisis.
Right.
What kinds of things are we going to see that are actually more efficient or more effective than what we have been doing, because that's just what we've always done. Sometimes change isn't a bad thing. It just hurts a little bit when it's happening.
Absolutely.
Well, stuck at home, a high school senior has been producing face shields for medical staff. That's right, 18-year-old Michael Mills, learning that medical equipment was in short supply, used a 3D printer and a design he found online to make plastic face shields. They are the type that are typically worn by dentists, and with his current setup, he can make one an hour at a cost of roughly 60 cents per mask. The Florida Department of Health says face shields like Michael is making are most effective when coupled with a face mask, even if it is homemade. The shield keeps the mask from becoming contaminated, and the layered approach provides protection. Michael has made more than 30 of the face shields so far and has donated them to people or organizations that have heard about his efforts through Facebook. He's even been able to add a new 3D printer that could crank out 8 masks without needing a fresh setup, making it possible for Michael to keep making masks throughout the night. Some area hospitals are accepting donations of even the homemade materials, storing them in case of an exponential increase of patients as the virus spreads.
I love this.
Yeah.
I mean, we all need some good news right now. We're all kind of panicked and scared, and kind of like Mr. Rogers always said, look for the helpers. They'll be
Right.
there.
You know, and typically you think of high school students, they're probably at home playing video games or something like that to pass the time away. And certainly kudos to you, Michael, for coming up with this idea and really making an impact and an effort.
While schools have been shut down for a few weeks, some teachers are still safely seeing some of their kids. About 24 teachers and employees of Highland City Elementary School decorated their cars with balloons and signs and drove through all the nearby neighborhoods where their students live. The Ledger's Kimberly Moore was there and saw the festivities.
Well, this morning we are just all getting in our cars, our staff members, and we're going around our area where all of our students live, and we are going to just stay in our cars and honk at them and wave at them and just tell them how much we miss them at school.
I know you! Hey, Luke!
I miss them a lot. I miss my children, my coworkers, our whole HCE family. Our school truly is a family.
The teaching profession is prepared, and they miss their kids. Why else would they live and work and do the things they do if they didn't love their kids? And this just proves it.
One of my good friends is actually a teacher there, and she was a part of the parade, and she was telling me how much of a struggle it has been to not be able to see her kids. I mean, because as a teacher, you become very attached to your
Right.
kids, and you're worried about them. You don't know what's happening with them. So this was a way that not only made the kids feel better, but the teachers feel better too.
I mean, educators have a very unique career, a very unique job. You know, we come to work and we build relationships with the other adults, but it's not the same as the kind of relationships that teachers build with students. So being away from, I can imagine that's really difficult, not just with wanting to work,
But wanting to
but
see your
wanting to
kids.
be with those kids, yeah. The COVID-19 threat has disrupted academic calendars at colleges and universities, forcing students off campuses and spawning online instruction. The unprecedented health crisis is also changing how students will be graded. Florida Polytechnic University in Lakeland will give students the option of receiving grades of satisfactory or unsatisfactory for the spring semester in place of traditional A through F grades. A student taking 14 or fewer credits may choose an S grade to replace up to 4 credits of coursework for any C or better grade in spring classes. A student enrolled in 15 or more credits can replace up to 6 credits. This option doesn't apply to graduate courses, senior capstone, or writing intensive courses. Students have until May 8th, 1 week after the end of the semester, to make a selection. Courses resulting in an S grade will count as credits earned in a degree program, but such a grade will not be used to calculate a student's grade point average. Florida Poly will allow students to apply for late withdrawal from classes until May 8th. The university also gave details for how students who have chosen to leave campus may be refunded housing and meal plan costs. Residential students who have departed will be credited for Monday through the end of the semester. Also, Florida Southern College in Lakeland is giving students the option to pass or no credit rather than traditional grades for the spring semester. For undergraduates, the passing grade is only available if the instructor records a letter grade of A through C. Graduate students can substitute a passing grade only if they earn an A or B in the course. Students will have until May 8th to decide whether they will have the letter grade or pass or no credit recorded on their official transcripts. Again, only letter grades will affect grade point averages. This is a good thing that the schools are doing. You know, obviously the disruption to the regular pattern could have a real effect on the grades that these students receive.
Right. Not only that, but the increase in anxiety and social distancing
Right.
and things like that can really affect your mental health, which can also affect your grades.
Yeah. I know, I was not a really high achieving student. I got passing grades through college, but, I know the folks that worked really, really hard, and to have a disruption like this could ruin their GPA
Right.
for their entire college career. So I think giving them the opportunity to say, hey, I got a B, let's throw that one out, just make it a passing grade, it doesn't
Right.
count towards the GPA. I think it's a great creative solution to a situation that's unavoidable.
A local theater has now started streaming independent films not available anywhere else. The Polk Theater went live with their new virtual cinema on April 3rd. They announced the move on Facebook, saying, in partnership with several movie studios, we will be providing access to first-run independent films for you to enjoy in the safety of your own home. These recently released films are unavailable on any other streaming site. The studios are generously working with art houses, theaters, including the Polk, to help bring in revenue during these very difficult days. The films are available on the Polk Theater website or on their Facebook page. Visit polktheater.org for more information. Another industry that is being required to kind of rethink and reframe and change. I know that there's been several movies that they've actually released early so that you can watch them online or buy them online. So
I think it's great that they're they're throwing a bone to the local theaters and
Right.
art houses, allowing them to make money on these independent films. Because previously, it would be the companies that release the films that make all the money on them. And I think this is a great option. There's tons of independent films out there that never get any eyeballs on them.
True.
So now you get to kind of promote them from within your own community.
And hopefully once the crisis is over, people will go visit them more.
Yeah, absolutely. Just because you're social distancing doesn't mean you can't get a professional family portrait. Kim Carpenter, a photographer in Lakeland, is using her newfound free time to give free family portraits in Lakeland, taking photos from front yards. Most families seem to choose pictures from their front porch, but Carpenter says that depending on the lighting, you could be in your doorway or the picture could even be taken through a window. While the photos are free, Carpenter is asking for donations to Grace City Church's COVID Relief Fund. She is only taking photos for families living in zip codes 33812, 33813, or 33803. To find out more, visit kimcarpenterportraits.com/lovelkld Corona Project.
I actually follow her on Facebook, and
Yeah.
she takes some beautiful pictures.
Yeah. We were seeing some of the photos there that she's taken of family portraits on people's porches, and they are really high quality, really well done. And what a creative solution to social distancing, still creating community and providing services, but
Right.
within the confines of those regulations.
I've seen some online where they've gotten pretty hilarious with it,
Yeah.
where people are actually out playing a board game or surrounded by toilet paper. So maybe the people who apply should consider that too.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the past few months, several swans have been killed around Lakeland, but one swan is not taking any chances. This one decided to be safe and use a crosswalk near Lake Morton in Lakeland. I kind of relate to this one. I feel like maybe I waddle a little slowly across the crosswalks
it's funny
too.
because there's been a lot of improvements in that Lake Morton area for people to recognize and notice the wildlife, the swans and the ducks and things that are always crossing there. And it's nice to see that the swans are finally playing their part.
They are, and
using those
hopefully,
crosswalks.
hopefully the humans will follow suit and actually use the safety things put in place.
It's good to laugh. It's good to laugh.
It is. Well, thanks for watching PGTV News. The board review is coming up.
But as we go to break, take a look at some of the ways that people are being creative and finding ways to do acts of kindness around the community.
Look at them. Everyone's Whatever that means, I can't see it.
I'll tell you what it is. Macarena.
Do you have a check down there? On the left? Yes? Okay, Jody's gonna go up. Jody's gonna go up. Well done. Jody's gonna go up. Second basket down the end.
Oh. Thank you.
Welcome to the Board Review with news about your county government. I'm your host, Tricia Pichette. Today you'll learn about County Commission actions from the March 17, 2020 board meeting. The board approved a resolution Tuesday morning that officially declares a state of local emergency relating to the COVID-19 pandemic. County Manager Bill Beasley signed the declaration March 16th, but it required approval of the board at its next meeting. This resolution will need to be extended multiple times by the board, since the duration of this event is expected to continue for a while. This measure allows the county manager to use all county resources to address the emergency and waives many of the procedures and formalities that the county is normally required to follow for procurement. An interlocal agreement with the City of Auburndale was approved Tuesday for use of tourism development tax funding, the engineering, design, and permitting phase of the Lake Myrtle Sports Complex multipurpose stadium. The board approved the agreement with the Florida Division of Emergency Management for the Standby Power Improvements Phase 2 project. Here to talk more about the project is Polk County Utilities Director Tamara Richardson.
We brought today for board approval a contract with the Florida Department of Emergency Management. During Hurricane Irma, due to the widespread power outages, the county decided to add additional generators to supply power to lift stations. Lift stations collect all the gravity sewage and pump it to the treatment plant. So when power was out, we had to take portable generators, or they have standby emergency generators at each one to continue that power supply, to continue the sewage moving to where it needs to go. So we added some more permanent generators to 23 different lift stations that we identified as being critical, either due to their size and the flow, or due to an environmentally sensitive area, say on the edge of a lake. So we've had 23. Now we've brought in 6 different contracts. This is contract number 5, and this includes 22 of those lift stations have been approved now. The last one is pending. It's where we fully expect it to go through. It's just a little bit more complicated project. So we fully expect to have that one. Well, the county commissioner just approved the contract, so we're going to move forward with the next group of lift stations in the southwest portion of the county.
The board approved a property insurance renewal with Arthur J. Gallagher for about $1.84 million, which is for the period lasting from April 1st through March 31st, 2021. The Real Estate Services Administrator was on hand to discuss this next measure, which is about the purchase of property in conjunction with Lakeland, Bartow, and Polk County Utilities' Potable Water Interconnect project.
We had one item on for regular consideration by the board this morning, which was the purchase of a 2-acre site on the north side of County Road 548, just west of US 98. The 2-acre site would be utilized for a potable water or drinking water interconnect that will be between Polk County's utility services and along with the City of Lakeland utility, and possibly at a future time the City of Bartow will also be joined in there. That site will allow us to construct the piping infrastructure needed for the interconnect, which would allow the city or the county or the City of Bartow in the future to utilize water from the other districts or from the other municipalities or county. It'll also allow us to be able to put in alternative water resources to service and provide redundancy to the current utility, whether it be the cities or the counties in this case.
The board accepted a performance security bond for Blossom Groves Estates for about $273,000. Several long-term Polk County employees were recognized for their services Tuesday. They included Phyllis Boykin, who is a medical records supervisor in the Fire Rescue Division. She was recognized for 20 years of service. Tina Louise Rowland, who is a parks caretaker in the Parks and Natural Resources Division, was recognized for 20 years of service. Michelle A. Chris, who is a paramedic in the Fire Rescue Division, was recognized for 25 years of service. And Mark A. Glazier, who is a traffic control technician in the Roads and Drainage Division, was recognized for 35 years of service. In public hearings, during the afternoon session, the board held several public hearings on a variety of items. Those items up for consideration included Amendment 1 for the Joint Planning Area and Interlocal Agreement between the City of Auburndale and Polk County was approved by the board Tuesday. The board voted to vacate portions of platted and unmaintained rights-of-way and an alleyway as shown on the plat of Crosby's additional to Lohman. A resolution was approved Tuesday to vacate portions of platted and unmaintained rights-of-way and easements as shown on the map of Eaton's first addition to Eaton Park and W.F. Hallam and Company's map of the farming and trucking lands. The board also approved another resolution to vacate platted and unmaintained rights-of-way as shown on the map of Waverly. The board approved an ordinance that the county require criminal background checks for county employment relating to numerous positions. Well, that wraps up this edition of the Board Review. To keep current with programs and progress in the county, visit us online at polk-county.net or follow us on Facebook and Twitter. We encourage you to watch the next scheduled board meeting at 9 a.m. Tuesday, April 7th, 2020. I'm Tricia Pichette, and thank you for watching.